Hello, hello. Sorry that I'm late. Slight technical difficulties. The difficulty being that I can't see the chat. It's just like a blank canvas. Like it's just white. I know. I went on to like a different thing and I see that Kaiwan, you said something, standing your ground because I think you don't like Felicia, which is fine. But but yeah, I can't I can't see the chat from my OBS, so I'm gonna have to kind of wing it and go back and forth between the live stream on the screen that I can see here. But I can't really do that while I'm showing you guys a clip. But luckily, we don't have to do that yet. But yeah, welcome everybody to the live stream. It is September 18th, and Kristina Wagner aired on General Hospital on September 7th in 1984. So we're a little bit past due, but only because I had family with me last week. Otherwise, I would have done it closer to the day. But that's okay. Better late than never. But yeah, 40 years of Felicia. She's one of my favorite characters on the show personally. So I wanted to celebrate, and I'm sure we've celebrated her on other live streams too. Probably like a 35, year milestone, or like just watching her just because. But yeah, it's I thought we would kind of take this live stream to kind of talk about her 40 years on the show. Obviously, there's been some breaks in between, but I am really glad that we got her back, and I feel like these days, while she doesn't have a lot to do, I still appreciate her being seen on the show. I feel like they utilized her pretty well a couple of years back, and then unfortunately her son had passed away, and she had to be off the show for obvious reasons. But they were hitting the ground running with Felicia, and they did. But to be fair, when they brought her back, they hit the ground running as well. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat on the YouTube screen again. Kaiwani said, "Do you consider Felicia to be a replacement Laura? I mean, since you've been watching the show on YouTube." I never did see her as a replacement of Laura. I mean, obviously she came in after Luke and Laura had really left the show, although she came in during a storyline that involved Luke and Laura returning for that brief time. So it didn't feel like passing the mantle, and also Felicia and Laura are nothing alike. Yes, Felicia dated Luke briefly in a weird era for the writing team. Didn't bode well, obviously, for that couple. But no, she's kind of stood on her own. She's a very like, at least at the start, she was like this fantastical, mythical creature because she was an Aztec princess, and there was this whole storyline. Obviously, she met Frisco, and the rest is history. They became a super couple on the show, very beloved by a lot of people, and they stood their own ground. I've never seen Felicia as a replacement of Luke and Laura, nor did I see Frisco and Felicia as like a replacement of Luke and Laura as a super couple. And of course, she found love again with Mac after Frisco left. Jack and Kristina were a real life couple. They were married. They had kids together. Obviously, the marriage didn't work out, but they seem amicable. They've worked together on various shows, not just GH, post divorce. Even as far as recently as like 2013, 14, 15, when Calls the Heart and GH during the 50th anniversary, they worked together. So, it's been a good ride with her. And it's I feel like it's fitting that we did the live stream today because we got to see her in scenes on GH today, and she is, if you guys aren't watching General Hospital these days, she's a patient advocate at General Hospital now, so she helps people deal with their medical situations, with their grieving situations, and she's doing that for Kristina while she struggles dealing with the loss of the baby that she calls Adela, that Molly calls Irene. So, there's a bit of drama there in that sense. But they were really good scenes, and she got to kind of touch on what it was like to lose a child. She obviously lost Georgie, which was also fitting. I didn't plan this, but didn't plan to coincide what we're going to watch later with what happened on the show today. She mentioned Georgie's death. We're watching Georgie's birth today, which, if you guys know, I made this, the thumbnail this morning. I don't read spoilers. It just coincidentally worked out this way, which is great. And like I said, we've watched Felicia clips on the show before. So I didn't want to, make it a whole thing on clips that we've already seen, because we've already watched all of our iconic scenes in the past. Kaiwan, you're saying, gotta have somebody be a part of the hospital. I never really understood why does it make Kristina die? Sorry? In terms of Felicia being at the hospital, it was a weird loop. Thrown for a loop, I was personally. But at the same time, it felt like there was a bit of a situation with what do you call it? with Mac, John York, he was battling cancer, and so the story that they were supposed to be telling over the last year didn't pan out exactly the way it would have. So they had to kind of give her something else to do, and she's doing it, and it's I don't hate her in the role. It is weird, but it is what it is. Angel, you said the GH's Twitter called her Adela too. Twitter checked GH real quick and said her name is Irene. Oh man, what a mess! But yeah, I figured that I would start the live stream by sort of reading her interview, at least parts of it, from Soap Opera Digest, because she reminisces on the 40 years of being Felicia. So yeah, we'll start with that, and let me know. Well, I guess oh god, how am I gonna do this, y'all? Actually, I can do this. Hold on. There we go. I just can't see OBS, so hopefully this is working well. Why didn't they make Kristina a doctor or a cop? You're asking me, I don't know. No, Jakaris, you are in time for the party. We've done nothing because I had some technical difficulties. Still having them. But it's really only to do with the chat. It has nothing to do with anything else. The rest of the live stream is going okay, I think. Let me know. But yeah, so we're just starting, so don't worry. I was going to read a bit of her interview with Soap Opera Digest just to kick things off before we watch a classic Felicia scene. Allison, you said, I loved the Mac, Felicia, Ryan stuff until the early 90s. Never saw Frisco and Felicia until he came back in the mid-90s. Talk about a deadbeat dad. Yeah, they have not written him as a good father. That is for damn sure. Never came back for Georgie's funeral. Came back only for Felicia. Ditched, Maxie, even though she was way grown up by then, because Felicia didn't return his feelings anymore. So yeah, not the best dad in the world. But today is all about Felicia. So let me read this article. We might read the whole thing. I don't know. Let me know if you guys want to see the article on the screen as well. And I can adjust that. And bear with me in terms of the chat, because I have to kind of switch between OBS and the chat right now, because it just doesn't want to show the chat for my end. So I'm watching the live stream as it's happening. But But yeah, so Soap Opera Digest wrote on September 7th, 1984, General Hospital introduced audiences to daytime's first Aztec princess, Felicia Cummings, played by then unknown 22-year-old Kristina Melandro, later known as Kristina Wagner, who moved from her native Indiana to take on the role. Felicia's pairing with Jack Wagner's Frisco Jones was a smash hit, propelling the actress to the height of soap fame. She's come and gone from the role over the years, but 40 years later, she's still an essential part of the Port Charles fabric. It's an honor to be in the position, she says. Not many people are. She looked back on her run with Soap Opera Digest. There we go. But yeah, so here is how the interview sort of went. Oh, sorry. All right. Here we go. So they asked, you were still living in the Midwest and hadn't really experienced the reality of being a working actor when you first auditioned for GH. Was life in California a culture shock for you at first? She says, all of it was. It was a completely different culture and environment and different types of people that I had never dealt with. I was very sheltered growing up, and I was in a marriage too at the time. Oh, I didn't even know she was married before Jack. Interesting. I was married when I was like 18 years old. Wow. So yeah, I was walking into another planet. But I think I had the type of personality that just kind of allowed myself to just keep going forward, you know? Okay, this opportunity has presented itself. Sure, I'll go that way. I wasn't ever that type of person that would stop to question. Digest responded, it's not a rarity that soap operas introduce new characters, but it is something of a rarity that new characters hit the ground running the way Felicia did, where everything seemed to work together to bring the audience into her story. Looking back, why do you think it all seemed to have that little touch of magic that made the fans fall in love with the character? And she says, well, I think that the writers, and especially Gloria Monty, the executive producer at the time, really wanted this character to take off. I'm sure I disappointed her here and there, but then as we started to work together, Jack and I think a lot of that had to do with some real life chemistry. The actors were married from 1993 to 2006. That was attractive. Even to Gloria, she sort of had there we go. She sort of had a track record of wanting her couples to be together in real life. Did she want Tony and Jeannie together in real life? That's kind of messed up. Damn. Anyway. She says, maybe I'm projecting that. I don't know that for a fact, but that's sort of her track record. I think it had a lot to do with the chemistry of Frisco and Felicia. I remember that she used to bring the writers up on set to watch us because we improvised so much back in the day. Not now, but back in the day because we had the time to. And she would say, do it like that, write it like that. So it was almost like we had this amazing opportunity to sort of lead the way with it. I don't want to take credit fully for that, but I think she wanted the writers to write our personalities and the way that we were relating to each other on stage, especially during rehearsals, because we were really goofy and we were free and just having a lot of fun. I think they were watching us like a hawk just to see what we were like, and they wrote accordingly. Man, when the writers and actors trusted each other. I don't know what she did. Did she know about Tony? Do you mean did Felicia know about Tony? Like Frisco's brother? Like did they know each other? Yeah, they did. They did. But or are you talking about Tony Geary? Let me know what you meant. Where was I? All right, there we go. So, Digest says, do you look back at that early period as fun, or was it so much work that fun was sort of catch as catch can? Kristina says, well, it was riveting, it was fun, it was something entirely new, but it was so hard because I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I didn't know what the soap world was like. I didn't know how to navigate being on stage with 5 cameras. I didn't know anything. I didn't even pronounce words properly because I was an Indiana girl. There were lots of mess-ups and embarrassing moments where I was humiliated and got laughed at the time because it was a much different time when everybody was less protected emotionally. And so I failed miserably in so many different ways with my own ego, in my thinking of myself. But I just kept going and tried to pay attention, and when I messed up, I learned from it. And it was nice to have Gloria believe in us, you know? She really wanted Frisco and Felicia to work. She really, I think, liked the chemistry with us. It was the 80s, so it was the super couple times, you know? Digest says, and it was also the era of big hair. I don't think anyone on Daytime had hair longer than yours at its longest. I'm scrolling down too fast. Well, that was a hardship as well, though, she says. Because when I first came on the show, I was a very low maintenance person. I didn't wear makeup, and my hair was long because I didn't engage with any styles. I never did the Farrah Fawcett haircut or all those trendy Dorothy Hamill things at the time. I just grew my hair because I had better things to do than think about what it looked like. I kind of didn't care. I don't know if that was a good or a bad thing in hindsight. That was a hard lesson, though, learning to have a little bit of on-camera vanity. I didn't care, so that was a hardship for me. I remember the first time they put full Felicia glamour garb on my face, which was a couple of weeks in because Felicia was posing as a boy in the beginning. It was glamorous makeup, and I went in my dressing room and I looked in the mirror and I thought, wow, I don't even look like me anymore. And I remember thinking that I looked like an entirely different person with all this glamour makeup on my face. And then I just started to play that game. I think emotionally, I never really assumed the role of the glamour girl. I don't know who she was. I never related to her. Thinking about what that might have meant for me in my development, I don't know if that was actually good, but I didn't have that sense of what do I look like on the outside. I just wanted to perform and run and go ice skating. But today, it's probably good because I'm more conscientious of my health and how that projects with the way I look. Because my face is going to be on camera, and man, it is hard maneuvering this mouse in two screens. And wellness and well-being shows in what you look like. Digest said, in the 80s, GH stars got sacks and sacks of fan mail. How did you manage yours? Wagner says, my mom, who passed away last year, she was a secretary through her life and had typing skills and other skills, and she ran my fan club very successfully. You can't ask for a better fan club president than her. Totally invested, very proud of her daughter. I'm so grateful that she did that. She was very personal with the fans, and it helped me a lot. We had a lot of phone calls from my dressing room because back then we had landlines in our dressing room talking about fan club stuff, and she did such a great job. I'm so grateful that my mama wanted to do that for me. I miss her very, very much. Aw, I think I forgot that she had lost her mom last year. Did she know about Tony Gary? Who knows? I don't know. We don't know if she was watching GH back then. Working with the larger than life Tony Gary and Luke and Laura. Surely she probably heard of Luke and Laura, so who knows? We'll see if they mention that in this interview. Digest had said, I remember you saying that she kept scrapbooks of your career, all your soap opera digest covers and articles. And she says, that's right, I have them in my house now because we had to go clear out her house in April. My brother and sister-in-law were saying, what do you want to do with all this stuff? It was like a room full of VHS tapes that she had recorded. She recorded the show every day, and she had all the fan club newsletter stuff and all the 8x10s and all the magazines she collected. Anything that even had just a blurb of Kristina in there, she wanted it. Digest says, because of your real life relationship with Jack, you also had to learn how to navigate a heightened interest in your personal life by the media, by fans, and learn how to protect your privacy. Wagner, she says, yeah, and my pregnancies with son Peter, who was born in 1990, and son Harrison, who was born in 1994, who passed away in 2022. It was all foreign. I didn't know what to protect or how or why and who am I really protecting myself from. It was uncharted territory and just trial and error. You just find your way with it. And I think we did the best we could. I remember the first time with baby Peter, we were on a soap opera update cover for Christmas. Peter was, 4 months old, I think, in that picture, and he was sleeping the whole time during the photo shoot, and we couldn't get him to open his eyes. The photographer really wanted those eyes open, and so, you just jiggle him a little bit, and he'd open his eyes, and they'd snap the shot. And when we got in the car to drive home afterwards, I cried, and Jack was upset. We were upset that we had to jiggle the baby to keep his eyes open. It was like, okay, we're not going to do that again. That was the first realization of how are we going to start protecting them. I mean, that was just one little element of it. Taking them out in public, we were a little more high profile back then because there was less TV and we were recognized a lot more. We had to find our way with that kind of thing. Digest said back, especially becoming a mom during your years on the show, you also had to figure out that work-life balance as well. Kristina says, in my early motherhood, that was a challenge for me. I have memories of sitting in my dressing room, talking to my mom on the phone and crying because my boys were at home with a babysitter and I had to wait and do my scenes later. I was just sitting in my dressing room waiting. Back then, it was just a lot of sitting around and waiting, and that was very frustrating. And I can go into that headspace and say, if only I had been there for them more, things today would be different. But that's toxic thinking. It's always more important to be forgiving of oneself. You can't live in that headspace. But we also bought this ranch when Harrison was 3 on Friday night. I drive home right after work, pick up the boys, load up the truck, and drive out to the ranch and get there at midnight on Friday night when they were still young enough and didn't need to go out and be out with all their friends back in those magical golden days when you still had control of your children. So we'd go to the ranch and be there until Sunday night, then hustle back for the next day of Monday obligations. That was a real magical time, really lovely. I'm grateful for all of that. Digest says, what does being on General Hospital mean to Kristina Wagner of 2024? And she says, well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I'm an entirely different person today than I was then in the early days. Entirely different. Like any human, a lot has happened in my life and a lot of hardships have happened in my life. And it's easier to say today that I sit here in gratitude for having weathered a lot of things and to sit here and be able to find joy, newfound joy, with all the stuff that's coming my way at work in my personal life. I think I've evolved and I like me better today than I did that girl then. But that girl then, I mean, she was on her way. She was finding her way. She messed up a lot as I do now, but she stood back up and she was very resilient. Today I'm just taking life as it is and accepting it, and I welcome things that come my way, even though they give me a problem or I don't agree with them. I feel much more peaceful with the what is. It's easier to accept the what is in my life. I've done a lot of work on myself and I've been in a lot of different programs and helped myself along this journey, and I'm glad I did because the things that have happened to me could really have taken me out, and that's not going to happen. I'm going to keep going as much as I can, and I want to stay on the show for as long as they'll have me, and as long as I can remember lines and deliver and be somewhat interesting. But I'm really grateful to be standing here. I embrace my life, all of it, and I have to say there's been an awful lot of luck along the way. I'm very privileged. I'm very aware of that, which has expanded as I've educated myself. Digest says, I really admire that you took the time away from the show to focus on other things in your life as well, including going back to school, and you've been so candid about working on yourself. And she says, well, I had help, and I think it's because I asked for help. I went to places where I could get help. I don't believe that any of us can do this kind of stuff by ourselves. It's not doable. We need people around us that give us loving support and that can guide us in the right direction and be there for you. That'll pick up the phone and you can talk to them and cry if you have to, or we'll give you some good guidance. People you trust. I think that's really, really critical. And then Digest says, a lot of people reading this can likely remember watching your very first day on the show. What would you like to say to your longtime fans on this occasion? And she says, thank you. I appreciate them more than they know and more than I can express. Our hope is to keep the show going for as long as we can and continue to entertain and tell good stories, express love and connection with other people. It's really been a great ride to be connected with all of them all these years. They've been nothing but kind to me. I just want to send my love and hugs back to them all. Aww. And I think that's it. Yeah. So that was her interview with Soap Opera Digest. And to that end, just to finish off the stream, we will watch... well, actually, before we watch Felicia giving birth to Georgie, and it is 16 minutes long, by the way. we will watch Frisco meeting Felicia for the first time. It's one of her very first scenes on the show. Not exactly her first, but one of the first. So yeah, I just got to shrink me down to size by going into OBS. Oh my god, this is a nightmare. Okay. There we go. There she is as a boy. Let's watch. And I'll keep the other stream up to see the chat.
Coffee, pal? Shoot. Well, he speaks. Or it speaks. Anyway, something does. Was that you?
Stay away from me.
No, not to you. Straighten this out a little bit.
There's nothing to talk about.
Convince me.
Sorry, I'm leaving.
No, you're not. You're going to stay right where you're at.
Don't you give me orders.
Come What do you know?
All right, are you satisfied? Satisfied your curiosity?
Baby, I'm getting more curious by the minute.
Well, on that note, I shall leave you.
No, you don't.
What's it to you if I leave? You still have your ring. No damage has been done.
Well, how do I know you won't go rip somebody else off?
I won't. I promise. I'm not a criminal.
Oh, just a petty thief, huh?
No.
You tell me then.
Can't explain it.
I'll give you an easier question, okay? What's your name?
Felicia?
Felicia what?
It's not important.
You say so. So, what else do you do besides park cars for a living?
I'm not really a valet.
You don't say.
Look, I don't have to explain myself to you. The ring was mine and I wanted to get it back.
Well, there are easier ways, like asking. Listen, Felicia, that's it, isn't it? Felicia? Look, you're gonna have to be a little bit more communicative, okay? I'm gonna call the cops.
All right. The ring belongs to my grandmother. I was looking for it, and someone said it was going to be at that charity ball. I knew I couldn't afford it, so I decided I'd have to steal it back. I mean, what else could I do?
Well, at the moment, you could try to tell the truth.
Why should I bother? You wouldn't believe me no matter what I tell you.
Well, you've got to admit you haven't given me much cause to trust you, huh?
All right. My grandmother isn't dead. She's still alive.
There's a start.
The ring was stolen by my cousin, the black sheep of the family.
You're not the black sheep? You mean there's somebody worse?
Are you going to let me finish?
Please. Sorry, continue. This is getting very good.
I told my grandmother I'd get the ring back for her, but before I could, my cousin sold it.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother wanted to buy it back, but I knew she didn't have the money.
So you stole it. Shame on you. What would your grandmother say?
Well, the idea wasn't to get caught.
Well, it usually isn't.
Well, at least now you believe my story.
Not a word.
All right, okay, I'll buy the ring back from you. I'll pay whatever you want.
We'll do this in installments. First, all I want is a little honesty. Not much, just a little, just so I can start to trust you.
Is the audio okay, by the way? I realize it's really loud on my end.
It's trust you want? All right.
Ooh.
Hey!
My ankle. I can't move it. It must be broken.
Felicia was Barbie as hell back then with that voice. Hey, Nathan.
Get into the hospital.
All right, now for the clip that we're actually here for. Felicia giving birth to Georgie.
Where's your entourage?
I didn't think I needed one.
Come on, self-respecting.
She was a movie. She was in the movie Double Dragon. I've never heard
Are
of
you
it.
trying to tell me that you think I should have a hair person and a makeup person?
Oh, darling, I was thinking more in terms of a couple of big bruisers to protect that gorgeous torso.
Get out of here.
You over your nerves?
That was this morning. But you want to know something? About 4 o'clock this afternoon, I suddenly realized I can't wait to get on that stage. And I'm going to tell you something else right up front. I'm not taking no Christmas.
Another one. Talk dirty. You know, I've got a list of people as long as my arm who are waiting for cancellations tonight.
No kidding.
Your reputation precedes you, babe.
Oh. But you know what I wish?
Hey, whatever it is, I'll get it for you.
If you could do it, it would have
Mary May Ward.
I'm missing Laura.
Well, I guess that pretty much makes it unanimous. Lucky's having a rough time. I guess it's not easy to be our kid.
I take it your visit to Beecher's Corners didn't go so well.
No, before we left, everybody pretty much had tough words with everybody. But look, that's not for you to be concerned about. Tonight, all you gotta be is live and in person on that stage.
There she is, sir. Hi. May I have the honor of escorting you to your dressing room?
Jonathan Jackson.
It is my pleasure.
Kill the people.
Hey.
Well, the L&B contingent. I was giving up on you.
You think I no-show big night for my partner? What kind of pal is that?
Besides, we had some business to
Look at
discuss.
Sunny, Lois, Brenda, Luke.
That's right.
Great. I wish you'd called. I just gave away your table.
What?
Hey,
What's up with
but
that, man?
I can still seat you. If
Everyone
you don't
but
mind
Felicia.
just people.
Oh, that's not cool.
Hey, look, I'm running a business here.
I swear this is the Felicia clip, all right?
I don't have a problem sharing.
Well, neither do I. I know.
There's the spirit. As a consolation prize, I'll seat you myself.
I'll have to look up that movie Kai won.
Amy, I got a party for you. You know, Amy, introduce yourself to the main stage there. Come on. And enjoy the show. Welcome to Luke's. Hey, thank you, Port Charles. Thank you, thank you. We got a great show for you tonight. Miss Mary May Ward is back in business. I'm very happy to have her. Without further ado, everybody, Mary May Ward.
Thank you. Thank you. There ain't nothing I can do, or nothing I can see. Folks don't criticize me, but I'm going to do just as I want to anyway. And I don't care.
Gee, it was so classy back then, man. Rosalind Cash was also very classy too, though. Just as a human being.
Should take a notion to jump into the ocean. Ain't nobody's business if I do. If I go to church all day Sunday, and I cabaret.
What's crazy is you can tell she was singing live here, which GH cast members don't really do anymore, except for Wally. Wally will still do it.
Ain't nobody's
Bradford too. Bradford Anderson does too.
if I do. Yeah. My man.
So if you hearing me sniffling, a little bit stuffed up from allergies this evening.
Ain't nobody's business if I do.
That was back when the music was a part of the show. Yeah. We barely even get montages these days. Not great ones. There's Felicia. No time we seen her.
Ain't nobody's business if I do.
Edward and Lila, Steve and Audrey.
It's nobody's business. Nobody's business. Nobody's business.
Oh. Why are you freezing now? Why? Why? What's going on? Come on now. There we go. Jason Q and Keisha too. Yeah. Kevin and Lucy as well. Didn't think Sonny and Jason Quartermain's here at the same space? Yeah.
You better watch it if your eyes, brown eyes.
I mean, he dated Brenda before Jason Morgan was Jason Q, so. And Brenda lived with the Quartermains.
Raymond Ward of the Howard Smith Trio. They may be right back.
Why they got rid of Lois's accent in the Today's Show is beyond me. Not today's show, but this week.
Oh, Lady Day would have had a run for money tonight. Anything like it. Oh, like.
Died on October 31st, same date as River Phoenix. Died in '93.
Feels like you could just do anything now. Oh, watch out now.
This might sound bad of me, and I'm sorry, but I don't. Who or what is River Phoenix? Don't kill me for that. Just educate me.
Now what? Oh, now. No. Felicia.
That.
Breathe.
Dang.
Breathe. Calmly. 1, 2.
Is everything all right down there?
Yeah, it's fine.
Mike.
She's having a baby.
Oh, breathe. A baby. Is there a doctor in the house?
No. Call 911.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You're not a doctor. I gotta start somewhere. Are you nuts?
I think it's a little late for your service.
Back when half the cast could stand up and say that they were doctors.
It's okay. It's gonna be fine. Just relax.
No, fine. First go.
Paramedics are on the way. Will they make it before the baby?
Don't worry about it. Just get us some pulse.
Prop her up. She needs to be able to push.
I think she might need more ice chips.
Now, a cleansing breath, Felicia, after each contraction.
Tony, let me take over your family.
I believe I've delivered more babies under preventive
We're
conditions.
gonna need something to tie off the cord.
Oh, pipe down.
Oh my god. The entire cast.
Now, this is not a medical convention, all right? This is going to be my niece or my nephew, and Simone specializes in babies, so we're going to deliver it. Is that all right?
Fine.
Okay, good.
Fine.
All right, everybody back to your seats. Drinks on the house. Yeah, drinks on the house. I'm sure they'll let you know if they need you. Go on back to your seats.
Dang, that would never happen in today's economy.
Felicia, it's all right. Everything's under control.
He is an actor, his little brother still acts.
We have a lot of help here.
I don't believe it.
You were 24 when she gave birth to Georgie. I was 3.
You know how to go with it.
3 or 4.
Shorts in, 2 shorts out.
This is 19. Wait, what year was this?
In my life, but this is one.
Like, this looks like 1994 to
Yeah,
me.
it's going to be a hard act to follow.
Yes, indeed.
Good.
So I would have been 4.
Well, if the baby says push, you push. Just don't take it easy. Breathe.
Why this thing keeps freezing on me, I will never know. This live stream has not been kind to me today.
Okay,
There we go.
All right.
Oh, for the love of... What,
95 that episode?
A woman
Okay.
in that condition would have
So-
to stay home.
I was 5.
Positively Victorian about these things. You know, if you had your way.
Apologies for my dog barking.
Mother would stay in the house with the shades down for the entire 9 months.
He doesn't even want Annabelle seen in public.
Well, granted, this is an extreme situation. I think it's wonderful the way babies are born these days. In my time, they put you to sleep and presented you with a little bundle when you woke up.
Well, yes, but there were advantages to that method.
I sure hope Felicia wanted natural childbirth.
But is this the modern equivalent of dropping it in a field?
Not with a room full of doctors.
Yeah, but what about the baby? I mean, aren't there things they're supposed to do as soon as it's born?
Yeah, well, some theories today say the less we interfere, the better off everybody is. Her body will know what to do, and so will the babies. Some intermission feature.
Look at this. This club is already turning into a legend and it's barely up and running. Oh no, just think. In probably a few minutes, there's going to be a whole new person in here. One more than when we first walked in. You know, this really does remind me of the time that I gave birth to Serena, except it really is different, sort of, isn't it? Because, well, I was absolutely alone, except for Scott. There we were, just all of us, you know, and we suffered. I was suffering most of all. Boy, did I suffer.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
Oh, the storm was raging, snow was coming down.
Audrey's just over it.
No heat or electricity. It was amazing. I was really terrified, of course. And Scott was more terrified than I was. I certainly didn't have all these doctors hovering around like Felicia does.
No. We were distinctly told not to hover.
Oh, my goodness. And then all of a sudden, she came out and Scott wrapped her up and put her in my arms. And even though I was only her mother, I was. You know,
You were 1 year old, Angel?
I'm around Bruce all the time at the hospital, but this just brings it back so clearly. Delivering BJ at the Brown social case so fast.
I remember the story.
She really wanted into this.
The medics are here.
All right, stand by. One push. Beautiful.
Looking good.
You did it, Felicia.
Just a second, I gotta work a little bit more stuff here, and there you go. You're on your own, kiddo.
Bravo, Felicia!
Can you imagine, though? Giving birth in a club in a room full of people.
What do we get? a boy or a
and they
girl?
cheer for you.
Baby and Felicia are fine, but she gets to hear first.
Do I have a daughter or a son?
Oh, they didn't know.
Is it a boy or a girl? Girl. Maxie is a sister. Let me hold her. I don't care if she's messy. Okay.
Oh. This is actually really sweet. Oh.
Hello, little girl. I'm your mommy.
Sorry about that. My phone went off.
We like you here.
Congratulations, Mama. I got a whole full house here, you know. Would like to know.
She's a girl. Sorry for causing such a fuss in your club.
It's great. You kidding? It was great.
Sorry about that, guys. And it stopped again. There we go.
Supposed to be her night.
Mm-mm. I think it was yours said that. Both of yours.
Hospital time.
What is this?
Come on, Luke. When are they going to tell us what she had?
What's the word?
Come on, Luke. Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah.
Luke's here and Felicia, of course, are very happy to announce the successful birth of baby girl Joe!
Suppose this means you're going to be Uncle Kevin? Oh, boy, boy. What do you suppose happened to Miguel and Louie? Good question.
What obvious answer comes to mind?
Stop it. No, Miguel was really looking forward to hearing Mary May sing. Oh, here comes Luke's shirt again.
All right. That is a wrap. So yeah, it's been 40 years of Felicia Scorpio, and it's been a wild ride on it as well. So yeah, it's been a pretty good live stream, and I don't have much more to say on the matter. But yeah, we will talk on Sunday for the General Hospital after show. And actually, before I go, there have been... Oh, actually, tomorrow, there is the premiere of Nicolas Chavez's Netflix series, Monster. And I mentioned before that I wasn't continuing Netflix, but we decided to keep Netflix so that we could watch the series. I don't know if I'll do an after show on the series, but I will talk about it on Sunday's show during the General Hospital after show, since it kind of ties in anyway. At least let you know my thoughts on the first episode, let you know if I'm going to continue watching the series. I don't know if the series is coming out all at once, or like once a week. I don't know. I feel like it depends on the series on Netflix. I could be wrong about that. I don't really watch a whole lot of Netflix, to be honest. That's mostly my mom and grandmother. But yeah, I think I will end the stream here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your patience and my technical difficulties. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the chat for a moment there. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to have an after show. We'll see. I'm going to watch the first episode tomorrow. Decide if it's worth watching an after showing. It's one of those things, like, I'm nervous about it because the last Monster series was Dahmer, and I could not bring myself to sit through it. Like, the first episode nearly traumatized me, and I'm pretty good with like horror and gore, but like I think the fact that it's based on a real life situation kind of made me really uncomfortable. Because it was just so grounded in reality. And essentially, this story is very much the same thing, only they're not serial killers, at least as far as I know. The brothers only killed their parents. Not that it makes it better, but I'm just saying it's going to be an infinitely different show to what Dahmer was. But yeah, I think I'll end it here. Nathan, I think you're way behind from everyone else. Everyone else watched it live, so I'm just hearing. I can hear it fine now. But yeah. I mean, yeah. Sad to say, streaming services are all increasing their prices, but it is what it is. I might just keep it just as long as I can watch this particular series and then end it. End it after that. So if it airs all at once, then I'll just watch the show as fast as I can. I guess it's if it does air all at once, it's hard to do an after show for it, right? But yeah, I don't know how it's going to be organized. We'll find out tomorrow. Why they made Felicia a deadbeat? Who knows? Well, realistically, it's because Kristina couldn't be on the show, but she's more than made up for that. It's been, she's been back in Port Charles and being a good mom to Maxie since 2012 or 13. So she's more than made up for lost time. Unfortunately, probably not during a time where Maxie probably could have needed her the most, but she's there now. And unfortunately, she was a deadbeat to Georgie. Although Georgie and Felicia, I guess, kept their relationship. Why they make any of the characters that go away a deadbeat? Yeah, that's the thing. Like, they could write the kids as going to see their parents all the time. They don't do it. Yeah. It's unfortunate. Even Lucky was kind of turned into a deadbeat, so what can you do? All right, guys. But yeah, I'll end the live stream here. Thank you so much for tuning in and celebrating 40 years of Felicia with me, and Kristina Wagner's 40th anniversary on the show. Laura Catatonic. Yeah, that's true. She's like the exception to the rule. She kind of had a reason. But yeah, anyway, give this video a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys this Sunday for the General Hospital after show. And we'll talk about Monster as well. All right. Peace out. Good night. Enjoy the rest of your week. If I can end the stream. I'm sorry.